Morning, Masterminds. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday market update. Really interesting, exciting market scenario right now. Apart from the obviously horrible war situation, we're sitting here as investors wondering, okay, what happens next? What's the best approach from here? Now, I sat down and wanted to do a as concise a macro summary as possible, while also giving you some ideas about not only what maybe we should be thinking about, what I'm doing, what other investors might be looking at as well. So hopefully that resonated. It looks like it did. I might just quickly share that and just walk us through it. So yeah, I think this is a fairly good cover of this. So the escalation, I wanted to represent that because look, we look at the Gulf War, we look at the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Venezuela. There's a lot of narrative spinning around. There's a ton of noise. It always seems either incredibly optimistic at the beginning or like this is going to be a massive quagmire in the first 24 hours. No one knows anything other than, let's say, Trump and the US military's recent track record of being quite surgical, targeted, in and out, sort of everyone disbelieving that. I guess the recency bias of Iraq and Afghanistan is all hanging in our minds, going like this is going to be a prolonged occupation, multi-decade thing. I just don't see that happening. We're just not in that world anymore. So hopefully there's an end game of this coming, but it's very, very clear it's going to get worse before it gets better in the short term, and that's all we can lean on here. Everything else is just speculation. I'm going off that recent track record of General Kane, who did the B-2 bomber, organized the B-2 bomber strike in Iran, then also the Venezuelan strike. So this is a very, very clear, fast in and out surgical strikes, not wanting that prolonged campaign. So you just have to imprint that on, all right, if that's their theme and their mode, they obviously want to do the same thing here where possible. It's going to be bigger. Yes, it already is much, much bigger. But they're going to try at the soonest possible moment to de-escalate and extricate. There is no political appetite for prolonged US engagement here, boots on the ground. Trump literally campaigned on no new wars. So if they can do it quick enough, get some kind of revolution going, and these are all big what ifs, big maybes, there's going to be a lot of instability and I guess disruption to the region and supply for a long time. This is a much bigger kettle of fish than Venezuela. So we're going to have to be very watchful of this. I do think there is a contrarian thought here that things could unwind a lot quicker than we think, and also a more favorable outcome for the world might actually happen. That is the more optimistic, maybe hopium thought here. But again, we're used to these long campaigns, think Russia-Ukraine war. But if there is enough momentum here and there can be a revolution in Iran, this can move very quickly in a direction. Plus, you've got all the Gulf states now on the side of the United States. You've got Israel, and now you've got France and the UK getting hit their assets in the region as well. So I do not think the Iranian regimes are very long for this world. It's just what comes after, what kind of destabilization comes after that. I'm very bullish on Iran with the young demographic of people there, and also their culture, Persia. There is this feeling that it's coming. But when is it going to happen? Is something worse just going to fill the vacuum? It's all problematic. We've also got Pakistan and Afghanistan on the right-hand side. I don't think it's any coincidence that Pakistan is engaging the Taliban leadership and a lot of their military assets in the last week before this broke out, which actually ties up the Taliban if there was a vacuum in Iran that they could maybe move in. Okay, so let's just go through this real quickly. So the French and the UK naval bases in Cyprus and in the region are getting hit. Both those nations are saying they're coming into the engagement here and they're going to hit the Iranian missiles. So that's reinforcements to the side that's going into Iran. 3 US troops dead. So the worse this gets, the worse the GOP's chances are at the midterms. Again, Trump will spin this positively and it will be received well. Americans love a winner. They do not like a loser. If there is continuing casualties and it's looking like this is going to be a prolonged war, this could just be an election killer. So I have to watch that in terms of the midterms and whether the United States goes into log jam. Again, markets are a funny thing. Markets actually kind of like log jam in the United States. They like when the executive branch is maybe hemmed in by a split Senate and Congress, or a executive branch and a opposition Congress and Senate.